So I'll say it again. I do like that music in that intro. We're actually working on a new intro right now because we're working on a new talk show, which I'm so excited about. It's going to be kind of like Dr. Oz, or if you remember this TV show Doctors, I think it was on NBC or something like that, CBS. It's like three or four doctors up there, and they would answer questions and kind of go into topics. And so we're working on that right now, and I'm so excited about that. And we're going to be able to have, and you know what? I'm actually thinking about being on the panel only because people do know me, they respect my work. I'm very opinionated on certain topics, and I kind of feel like I need to be that voice of the people. So I am looking at doing that. So we have a big call on Friday with a bunch of experts, and the feedback has been amazing. And I think that we can really create something here that can be a change factor. And we need that. We need that. And having voices who aren't scared to talk, who aren't scared to express their opinions, who, I want to challenge the system at times. The other day I was looking at because I had made a series on carnivore, and since that series, we've got a couple of people who were staunch carnivores, experts, doctors who were preaching carnivore for years, who now decided carnivore isn't the way to go. And I'm like, hold on now, how does that work? You were preaching one thing for years and backing it with science and data, and now you decided it's not the right thing to do, and now you're going a different direction. Of course, people change their mind, but it's the same with, let's say, statins. You have people who believe in statins, and the experts and doctors who believe in statins, and you have the ones who say it's the worst thing ever. And these are experts. So it's kind of like, what do we really believe? What do we do? We're lost if we can't get the right direction. So we're going to be able to challenge the system and kind of talk about things and really go deep into conversations. This is no 5-minute conversation and go to a commercial break. We're going to be flushing out everything from dementia to women's health to you name it. And we're going to have the sharpest from around the world. Over the last few years, creating the programs that I've been working on, I've been reaching and meeting amazing experts, literally from all around the world. So we have a database of, if they're not here on set, we're going to be able to dial them up, and we're going to be able to get the information that we really need. So today we're going to talk about dementia and people and Alzheimer's. And I've been doing some episodes on this because I have family history of it. My grandmother, my dear Jamaican grandmother, passed away from it. I remember going to her bedside at the hospital, and seeing her there, and just being broken. I was in tears, actually. I was probably about 14, and I knew nothing about dementia. And I remember she had walked out the house in a bathrobe or whatever it was. I saw no signs of any of this, to be honest with you. And I was always with her. And now my mother is dealing with early onset. Not she's 80 going on 85, and while she's fantastic 99% of the times, the other day I had painted her living room, her bedroom, and I showed her a video. A few minutes later, she said, "Oh, you're gonna send me a picture?" I was like, "Ma, I just showed you a video," and she was like, I didn't remember a video. And so I showed it to her. She's like, "Oh, all right, I saw it." And little things, she might say, "Well, whose bedroom am I in, or whose bathroom is that?" So, but at 85, I hope that I'm in as good a shape as she is, to be honest with you, and as happy as she is, right? So, I have understanding where she's at right now, and she's doing better than most, to be honest. But it does leave me feeling a little bit at ease too as well, right? Because I don't know if I have that trait. God knows I was at the store the other day, and I went there, and I was talking on the phone, got to the store, and forgot what I came there for. And I'm like, all right, but I'm gonna chalk that up as I got too much on my mind. But so it has been something that we've really been looking into and creating a series on that because I do believe that there's not enough information, not enough education, and this can affect anybody at any time. The other day, I was doing some research and I saw she was worth $5 billion. She's from the Publix franchise, and this woman passed away from dementia Alzheimer's at 65. 65 or 56 or 60, I think 65. And I'm just blown away by that. Having billions and the world at your hands. So, this could affect anybody, rich or poor. And hopefully it won't affect us. But if it does, we need to talk about it more. And the industry just isn't set up for that. That's why we're working on shows like this. That's why we're having the interviews that we have, because we need to talk about this and kind of flush this stuff out. So I've got a young lady over here. Louise, how are you?
Hello, Charles. How are you?
I'm top of the morning,
I knew that was going to happen.
Well, I'm a Marley, and my grandfather was Norval Marley, and he was in the British Royal Army. So I have a tad bit of British in me,
A tad.
a tad.
I love that. Thank you so much.
So, so tell before we get deep in, I know you've seen some of my work, and I know you know what I'm looking to do with the dementia series. When you saw some of our work and saw what we were looking to do with the dementia series, what resonated with you?
I think the most powerful thing that you're doing is unlocking the ability for people to be able to talk honestly about the system, the impact that dementia has on individuals, the impact that it has on families, but also the fact that the system is not yet set up or optimized to be able to deal with the amount of people that have dementia today and the amount of people that are going to get dementia. And
Yeah,
we have to act now. We
yeah,
have to be preparing ourselves better for the future.
yeah,
And care systems across the globe, I think, are all under pressure. And
yeah,
one of the things that people with dementia need the most is a very willing and able community of caregivers, whether they be paid caregivers, unpaid caregivers. Education, education, education.
yeah,
For me, is the thing that we need to be promoting.
yeah. You're so right. I've seen this literally time after time after time with these conditions. And Luis, I'm blown away, to be honest with you. I don't know who's in charge. I don't know who they're hiring at this point, because the messaging is just totally not there. There's billions of dollars being made. There's billions of dollars being spent. And when I say billions, I mean billions. And the average person is going to jump on Google or going to jump on Twitter. I was talking yesterday about somebody who just said they were diagnosed with type 1, stage 1 prostate cancer, and they're looking for answers on Twitter. Um, there's groups that have hundreds of thousands of people in them on Facebook. They're going there, posting their questions, trying to find answers, trying to figure out the situation. I don't know why it's really so hard to get the messaging out there. And especially when I create programs the way I do, and then we're like, well, why aren't people jumping on board of this? I mean, if I like to say, if you're gonna fish, I'd rather fish out of a barrel than fish out of a lake. And Amazon and Tubi don't make me, I'm not going to turn on Tubi on Amazon and say, my God, there's some information about dementia, Alzheimer's that I need to turn to. Let me write this down. So, I mean, why do you think it's been so hard to really get this message and awareness out to the masses?
I mean, in my opinion, there is still so much stigma around dementia, particularly. The majority of the people that have dementia now are older and from a space where discussing mental health was very, very different and difficult to do. So the first thing we have to do is try and keep going with the stigma associated with dementia. And then the second is find as many ways of communicating to as many people as possible and feed people information in not only a format that they can digest, but in a way that they like to digest information, because so many people like information in different ways.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I think that there are some very traditional ways of being able to share information. Yet actually, what many people need is something that is perhaps a more modern approach.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your story, how you got into the dementia Alzheimer's space, and what the journey's been like for you. I'd love to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah. I am the daughter of somebody that has dementia. My mum is 6 years post-diagnosis and probably had 10 years worth of symptoms. And I knew nothing about dementia when my mum was first showing some signs. It's only now that I reflect back, I realize that that's what was going on. It's incredibly important to educate people around the idea that dementia isn't just about memory loss. There is so much more complexity to this disease. And when you are looking at somebody that is changing their behavior in some way, shape, or form, I have now learned that the things that I was seeing in my mum were absolutely classic signs of dementia. I just wasn't aware of that. So I was a busy corporate financial services technology lady. I had a very busy career, 30 years in that world. And then I needed to start embarking on a quite active care journey with and for my mum. And those two things, it got to a point where those two things just weren't really possible to deal with together. And I needed to figure out a way of changing my life, changing my world, so that I could be as present as I wanted to be for my mum, as present as I felt she needed. And that and my big corporate career wasn't going to happen. And so I took some time out. And I'm not very good at time out. It's not a skill set that I have particularly. So I think within about 10 days of leaving the big job, I left my mum's house. Having been on a visit, I had an idea. I rang my partner. I said, I think I've got something. And then we started on our entrepreneurship journey. And I have been deeply immersed in the world of dementia ever since. I get to meet incredible people every single day and learn so much about this disease, the people that care for those with this disease. And I spot so many things that could be better and different. But Charles, one of the things that's incredibly important to me is to recognize that those people that are in a caregiver role, we see at the moment, we only ever see at the moment the bad side of caregiving, the shock of caregiving, and you see awful videos of terrible things happening to people in facilities. I want to make sure that we call out the majority of those people that do this for a living, that are incredibly kind, incredibly passionate, and want the very best for those people that they care for. But they are under pressure. They have a very difficult existence, and it is a tough job that, in my opinion, is incredibly underrated.
No, you're right about that. And my mother is, like I said, she's she's always been an outspoken woman, and she's a really strong woman. She's went through a lot. She's endured a lot. And I have to tell the people who come take care of her, because we have people from Jamaica that'll come and stay, for a year or whatever like that. So she has really good care. And she's the sweetest lady though, but she's got a mouth at times on her, I mean, not a bad one, but she's just really, really just sharp. And I have to tell them sometimes, I'm like, listen, just she's gonna say some stuff sometimes. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we've all got
And
those stories.
and they're fine with it. I mean, because they can tell she's a really sweet person. So she's toned it down now a whole lot. And it's actually we were always really, really close, because she raised me and we grew up, and so it was like me and her against the world type thing. And but it's interesting how the dynamic is now. Whew, yeah, and it's not easy, because I'm her caregiver, and she lives about almost 2 hours away, and I try to get there at least once a week or every other week, and I bring food and supplies and things like that, and yeah, oh yeah,
Very
yeah, she's
different.
it's I wouldn't change it or change anything for the world. What I'm here to do now with her is and I try to impart that with my kids too. I'm like, listen, you gotta, I hope that if I ever get to a place where I need you guys, that you guys are here for me, because I'm really the only one there for her. I have a brother, but he's not there for her. And if I wasn't here, I don't know what would happen, so yeah, so I commend you too as well, because it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not easy for those who take care of them. And that's, once again, and I go back to the series of why it's so important for us to make this series, is because I think not only the people who are living with it, the people who will eventually be diagnosed with it, um, and also the caregivers, the people in this business who
Yeah,
get up every day and have to fight every day, and have to, struggle with not only taking care of people that we love, but their own issues. They got financial issues, they got family issues, they may have their own health issues, and they may have whatever it may be, and yet they still show up to take care of our loved ones.
I
And
couldn't agree more. I couldn't
yeah,
agree more. I think, this is where the UK and the US dynamic is, perhaps a little different as well. When you become a carer, there is only there is a very small amount of training that you have to do for caring for someone with dementia. So it's actually, I mean, there was some anecdote, it was on a very credible social media site, but they were talking about the fact that it was actually, there was more training to become a qualified barista than there was to be able to be a carer of someone with dementia.
wow, wow. That's scary.
I mean,
That's
what?
scary.
What? The complexity
Yeah,
of
that's
this disease should
yeah,
never be
yeah.
underestimated. And
No.
to help someone and support someone with dementia, that to have the quality of life that they still deserve, because they are still there. They're still there. They're still hearing. They're still existing. We have to honor their past. We have to honor them today. And we have to look to what their future is as well. We mustn't just reminisce. We mustn't just talk about the today. We must also ensure that we are thinking about their continuing needs and their future. And that is difficult. It's very, very difficult. And the importance of this role
Yeah,
as a society, I think it has not been recognized that it is a huge skill. And
yeah,
there are so many people that could not be a full-time caregiver, paid professional, because they just don't have it in their heart, their soul, to be able to do that job. And as you can tell, this is very, very important to me. And I care massively about the education side of dementia, because to be able to do this job and to be able to have a society that works in our future and has suitable care giving for those with dementia, we have to change the perception of what care means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Care
No,
is
you.
not just care, it's support. It's about enabling somebody. It's about
Yeah.
finding the things that they can do and not just thinking about the things that they can't. We are so obsessed with dementia and thinking about all the things that we've lost. And actually, the difficulty is getting that fine line of being able to find the things that they absolutely can do. This is a dreadful disease because of how long it goes on for, and it is a progression. But at every stage of that progression, there is still things that we need to find to unlock and enable and enjoy and find a true life for those people, despite their diagnosis. The
Yeah.
diagnosis does not mean the end. It
Yeah.
means a change, mainly for the people around them.
Yeah.
Sorry, there you go. That's me.
No, no, I love that. I love that. And I don't understand what's, I was just thinking about it yesterday, how just the world has changed so much, and how we've lost touch with so many little things. You know, this is a short ride. This really is a short ride. I know everybody wants to make $1 billion, but we've lost touch with actual people. We've lost touch with caring. We've lost touch with empathy and sympathy, and I think that's why the work that we're trying to do is so important. Is there's not enough advocates. There's not enough people fighting, and the ones that are need more of a voice, need more of the support. I think I keep saying we're getting to a place. I remember when I started this, Louise, there was a lot of advocates, and I started in diabetes, and there were a ton of advocates. And I really see any right now that, and the few that are paid. I can count on maybe one or two hands the real advocates that we know, let's say even in dementia, Alzheimer's. Not saying that there aren't, but we don't really know them like that. They're not, they should be held up. These companies who have the position should be making sure that these advocates are still being able to carry the torch, and not just worry about how we monetize, how we collect the data, how we streamline the system so that we could make sure that the data, which is the person, is streamlined the best, while we forget about the person who's curled up in a ball and needing help. And those are the ones that we love, and may soon be us, that our children or loved ones have to care for us. So tell us a little bit about, obviously, your company, where it's real life conversations, where you're advancing well-being of people with dementia with personalized tech that enhances lives and reduces caregiver stress. Why the focus more on the caregiver? Is that because of what you've gone through, lived experience?
De- Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm a technologist. Spent my whole career in the world of technology, so I I wanted to look around and find what technology there was to help me be a better carer to my mum. And I look around and I see a whole ton of technology that is aimed at those with dementia. Absolutely brilliant. But those are things for safety. Those are things that help you check you haven't left the gas on. They're things that if you wander out of the door, alarms go off. They're things around your neck that if you fall, there is so much technology out there that is about safety, that is about existing. We care massively about technology that supports and deepens human to human connection. We care about technology that helps with boosting self esteem, that helps with a sense of belonging. And that's what I couldn't find. I couldn't find enough technology that didn't feel like a test or a quiz. You know, people with dementia don't need to be reminded of the things that they don't know. And therefore, in my opinion, a quiz can really be quite hard work and quite sad if you keep getting things wrong. And if there's a yes no answer and you get it wrong, you've got it wrong. So how do we unlock what I said earlier? How do we unlock the things that people know? Well, we know through science and through research that reminiscence is one of the most important things that you can do to help someone with dementia. And it reduces their anxiety, it can reduce their confusion, and it can make them feel comfortable. Talking about their past and where they have come from is often a brilliant way of settling somebody down. So how do we do that in a world where caregivers don't actually know enough about that person's background? Photographs tell an enormously beautiful and brilliant story of someone's life. So when you first, as maybe a paid caregiver, you onboard a new client into your world, you might fill out pro forma a couple of sheets about whether someone likes broccoli or sweet corn, and you might have a few ideas about their family tree and who the players are in their friendship. But does that give you a real insight into who the family is? Well, in my opinion, perhaps not in as much as it could. And so what we wanted to be able to do with our technology is help anyone, regardless of whether they are a close family member or a less known caregiver, be able to reminisce with someone with dementia using family photographs as a basis. Our technology deeply looks into every single one of those images and does a whole load of facial recognition. We look at locations and things like that. But the magic is finding things to talk about in those photos that require no memory of it. So if you look at a picture and you don't recognize Billy or Bobby or whoever in the picture, instead of moving on from that photo and feeling like you've failed because you don't know who it is, imagine the ability to be able to say, I love that blue shirt you're wearing. Do you like blue? I've always felt I look a bit better in green, to be honest, but that works better with my eyes. All of a sudden, by having one word prompts, you've made that photo become a conversation, and not because of the people or the memories that you have of it, but because of other things that there are in that picture. And we like to say that every single photo is a conversation waiting to happen. That is a skill that not everybody has, the ability to be able to find things to talk about in a picture. So with our app, we have the ability to help caregivers learn more about the person and their past and the players and the family members and the friends and all of that amazing stuff. But what we also give them is a tool to help give them prompts of other things to talk about. So if your loved one with dementia doesn't recognize, there's something else in there. And you can talk about that. You chat about it for a couple of moments maybe. And then you say, well, if we like that blue shirt, let's go and see if there's any other blue shirts in this photo. And then what we automatically do is go and find the next photo that's got a blue shirt in it. So every single photo is linked to another one. We find all of the connections between those pictures. Imagine throwing up into the air 100 photos. Imagine the spider's web that would create, all of the connections between all of those pictures. We find those, and then we present some of those so that there is then a much more supported, natural flow of conversation from picture to picture, regardless of what you know about it.
Yeah. That's a very, very powerful thing that you're talking about, to be honest with you. And, because I say this because I remember when I went to go see my grandmother, this was in the Bronx in New York. And I remember walking into the facility and I just was like, ooh, boom, I don't know about this place. It was one of those, you know what I mean? And she came out, they brought her out, and those people working there won't know anything about my dear sweet grandmother. They don't know her background. They don't know what she's been through. They don't know how she, likes small things or anything of that nature. And I think that not knowing that or knowing it could be very pivotal in and that's why, once again, thank goodness I'm able to have a caregiver come and say, listen, this is mom. She's amazing, she's sweet, she likes her Jamaican food, she even likes to sip on a little Coca-Cola every now and then, Diet Coke, or she's strong, she's been through this, and I could share that with them, and they eventually will see it. But especially if you're talking about someone that's taking care of your loved one in a facility who is changing shifts and may not get a chance to really know sweet dear mom, and sweet dear mom or dad says something crazy to him, and now that caregiver says, no, I don't want to go in that room, because they told me about myself, or whatever it might be. So
Yep.
I think that being able to have that connection is very powerful and allows those caregivers a chance to know a little bit of the backstory on who this person that might be sitting in front of them is.
What we hope is that you fast track getting to know the person that you're looking after. So, like you were just saying about, the caregivers that were coming into your home to look after your mom, they can get to know your mum well through you, but for you to be able to tell a lifetime of stories or tell the stories between 100 pictures would take you a really long time. But actually, those little stories, whether they're true or false, that your mum could then tell that caregiver independently, if there was a picture in front of her with a few prompts, all of a sudden there's a conversation waiting to happen. And we have talked a lot about 24 hours is a long time. If you are looking after somebody and you're maybe on an 8-hour shift or whatever it might be, it's a long time. And being able to actually tap into somebody's past, it allows to move away from the more banal conversation and the depth of knowledge and understanding of somebody's past and what has made them happy. Because often what we find is that people take photographs of people when they're happy. And that's brilliant because you can take cues from that. And I'm not sure if this will resonate to the US audience. So if it doesn't, I apologize. But I had the most amazing feedback from the product where this caregiver was going into this lady's home and she was setting the table every single night for dinner, fairly formal, because that's what she thought was the right thing, judging by the person's environment and the way that they lived and, the kind of cutlery and crockery that this lady had. So setting the table seemed a really important part of this lady's day. They started looking through the photos, and there were some of the happiest pictures when this lady was sat around in their living room with the TV and they had their dinner on a tray. And the whole family was sat around their sofas, their couches, with their dinner on a tray watching the TV. And this caregiver said to this lady when she was particularly uptight and not actually wanting to eat very much, I tell you what, should we have our dinner in front of the TV tonight on a tray? This lady's eyes lit up and she ate every single ounce of food on that plate. And that was the first time that she'd had a good meal in too long. And that lady only found that out by looking at those historical photos and seeing when that lady was happy and she was comfortable, she was content in those pictures, and she was able to recreate that into this lady's future because she saw that. But nobody would have passed on that bit of information as part of a caregiver, bit of information when you take on a new client to say, oh, and by the way, that would just never have come out. Pictures tell a story of someone's life.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
So does mom understand what you've given up for her, and you know
I mean, given up is a big statement. I haven't
yeah,
given up.
no,
I've
well,
changed my
walked
world.
away, yeah,
I've changed my world.
yeah.
And no, in all honesty, she doesn't. And that's okay. I I don't think I was destined to finish my life and finish my career in the corporate world. Both my dad and my brother have run their own businesses, and I think I was just biding my time. My mum gave me a huge gift, teaching me about dementia and the world of care, and I will always look at it that way. Had this have not happened to us and our family, this wouldn't be my world, and this wouldn't give me an opportunity to actually do something that really, really matters to me, because I didn't even know it was a problem. And all of a sudden, I have launched myself into this life and frankly got to meet people like you, Charles. I mean, what more could a girl want?
You know, Louise, I'll tell you the same. It's like this has been being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes has been a blessing in many ways. I would have I always wanted to do something special. I didn't know what that was. And it wasn't until this, and then it led me into all these other conditions where I actually have found my why, my journey of giving back and leaving something. Who knows, if I would have stayed in Los Angeles making films, which I was doing and doing very well, I might not have been immersed in this type of advocacy. And I know for a fact, and I'm sure you could relate, I've gotten, man, I've thousands of messages and emails and comments, and where people are like, Charles, thank you so much. If it wasn't for this, if you didn't make that, or if it wasn't for those kind words, then, and that brings a sense of real purpose in this life, because God knows it's not about chasing the almighty dollar, a piece of paper, buying the new Ferrari for $640,000 that just came out. It's not about all the other things that are fleeting. It's really about making sure that the ones that we love and the ones that love us are taken care of to the best of our ability, and that we give something back in this lifetime, and hopefully that translates to others who can see our our mission and say, you know what, I'm gonna pick up where they left off, per se. So it's been a ride. It's been a
It sure
ride.
has. And I don't know about you, but I have met people on this journey that
Yeah.
I would never have had the pleasure of
Never.
meeting. People that do just such amazing things. And like
Yeah.
you said it earlier, you said it's about giving people a voice. And good God, I have met such incredible people that in their world are just absolutely knocking it out the park. They're doing such amazing things. And yet I would never have come across them in my old world. And there's thousands and thousands of people doing great things. Imagine what we could do if we gathered all of them together.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
we found a way of bringing all of that talent, passion together.
Yeah,
I
you're
honestly,
right.
we won't be in this position in 10 years' time if we
Yeah.
find a way of giving everybody a better voice in this incredibly special place that we work, which is dementia care.
It's time that the good wins, right? It's time that the good wins. I mean, there is so much good out here, and it's at times we see the volume of the so-called bad just being raised, but the so-called good are if we had that same volume, and that's why I want to work together with on this television program and some of the activations that we do, because I really believe that it's time for the tide to turn. And I think it's ready. I think people are ready for it to turn. And I see them coming out. They may not do it so publicly because, they've got to hold on to their 9 to 5. But you can see them watching. You can see them admiring from a distance. And I think that if we give them the ability to really spread their wings and run, I really believe that we can twist this healthcare system in our favor, and we can help more people. We can help more people. So what's next for you, young lady? Other
Ah,
than me and you talking about Katie Price.
I mean, that was a surprise. I'm not going to lie. I came out of left field in that conversation. Please note all of my American little references here. I am trying. I am about trying to get my product into the hands of the people that need it the most. We are excited to be able to offer it both direct to families, but we are obviously looking to work with care providers who could add this into the way that they work every single day. And there's such huge benefits to business care, the business of care. And so finding the right people to talk to and having the ability to share what we've built and evolve what we've built as well. As a good technologist, you know that your product can only get better. And we're willing, able, and wanting to listen to people who think that we could do more, because we probably think we can as well. It's pretty good now. It's going to be even better.
I love that. I love that. And how can people find you?
Well, reallifeconversations.com. And also we are on both the App Store and the Google Play Store. Download our app and everything's in there. You'll get as much information as you like. I'm across quite a lot of social media as well. I'm really stretching out of my comfort zone at the moment. I'm doing some videos, which is not really how I grew up doing all
You're
of
a
that.
podcaster now, Louise.
Well, yeah, I've got a new title. I'm going to add that
and
to
a
my
YouTuber,
resume. But yeah, I'm trying to do all of that stuff. So treat me nicely if you see any of that.
I know.
No thumbs down. But I just want to be honest about the journey that I am on. And I want any little things that resonate with people to help, because ultimately that's what I'm looking for from other people as well.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, and I thank you for your support. I know I reached out to you, and you reached back out, and I think you see my passion and my mission too as well. I think that's probably what made us connect, and I look forward to seeing you in Costa Rica. I think that your story and sharing, even if you're out there for a day, to kind of impart, who you are and what you're doing, and this amazing service that you offer, could really change the world in many ways. So let's keep pushing. I'm putting it all together. Hopefully, my goal is to be on set in the next 60 to 70 days in Costa Rica, and I look forward to many amazing things.
Me too, Charles. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to you as always, and always at the end of the phone if you need anything.
For sure. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Thanks, Charles.
Bye. Yeah. Oh, man. She said something that was really, really pivotal there. There has been so many people that I've met in this space. I wouldn't have met her. When I look at all the people that support the efforts that we're doing, whether it's CRPS or diabetes or menopause, man, I've met people I would have never ever met being in my little bubble. Let's say continuing to make, films with James Woods, and people of that nature. And not that I didn't meet great people then. But this has really, like my uncle said, satisfied my soul. This has satisfied my soul. And it's been a beautiful ride. And I look forward to many more rides like this. And, we're really excited. And I hope that we will be on set real soon with this Dementia series. Got to say what's up to Clint. We're going to have him on the show too as well. Clint is doing amazing things in dementia and Alzheimer's. So we're going to keep these conversations going, and I think we're on to something. And I know that the people who need this, they deserve this, and we're going to keep fighting for this. And whether it's being a vocal voice or not, we will. I'm going to continue being a vocal voice. and the ones who are doing what's right are attracted to others who are doing what's right, and we'll keep winning. We'll keep winning. So tune in to Start Within. If you're watching, share, send it to some friends, send it to some loved ones. We got a good thing going on here. We got a good thing going on here. We're not talking politics. We're not talking all of that crazy stuff. We're talking about real life and things that we will going through, or loved ones will go through. And let's find some answers. Yeah, let's find some answers.